Hi, I'm JJ. Welcome or welcome back. This is Tuesday, so I'm going to do the Travel the World tag. And this was created by Cliff over at Cliff's Dark Gems. And I was tagged by Mike at Bibliophile Reads. This was a fun one. I really enjoyed it. And with all these tags and stuff that we usually do like rapid fire book suggestions and recommendations and stuff. And so I just wanted to pick ones that I haven't talked about before, or haven't mentioned a lot, so that I'm not always talking about the same thing. So I tried to get a little creative here. So I hope that that's okay. I still tried to stay within the prompts, but kind of my own take on them. For number one, UK and Ireland, known for history, culture, arts, and literature. So talk about a book, an older book or a classic that you have read and loved. And so one classic that I really enjoyed that I don't ever talk about is Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray. So it's a satire, and it's actually it's quite long, but it's a fun read because Thackeray was always famous for saying that this is a book without heroes. So everybody in here is flawed. Some of them are absolutely horrible people. But Becky Sharp is a fun character to follow because she's so deceptive and conniving and without remorse as she tries to social climb. And it's almost just kind of entertaining to like see who she's gonna basically screw over next. What her plans are, what she's gonna try to do to advance, and who she's gonna hurt along the way, and if she's ever gonna kind of get her comeuppance. So I just found it utterly fascinating. Number two, Australia, a beautiful country with wildlife found nowhere else on Earth. Now, I thought the prompt was going to be about animals, and I had one in mind, but it actually says talk about a book that has an original or a unique premise. So I chose one that does have animals, but is still very unique, and that is Life of Pi by Ian Martel. And so it takes place with like a zoo type of setting, and a boy who, and the part that I actually found fascinating was his trying to figure out which religion he wanted to follow. So he's like following like all kinds of different religions because he's like picking and choosing the things he likes from each one. So in doing that, you kind of learn about all these different religions and aspects, and contrasting and comparing them and stuff. So I actually found that part very interesting. But where it gets unique is they have to, sell their a bunch of their animals, and he somehow ends up on a ship with his family as they're transporting a bunch of these huge zoo animals, and it gets like something goes wrong. He winds up in the water with a tiger in his raft, and they both have to try to survive together. And it gets so unique in the way that it explores how they get through this, what it really means, what happens, and it's a fantastic end to what storytelling can do. I don't want to spoil any of it, but it's just a really engaging and thought-provoking read. And number three, New Zealand, a land of breathtaking beauty. Talk about a book, fiction or nonfiction, where the setting is so strong or so stunning that you want to live there. I completely have bad handwriting. So I picked a book where I do want to go there, explore, but the story itself is not what made me want to go there because it is basically a story of death and obsession. But Lost City of Z by David Gran, and it's about the Amazon rainforest, which I would love to go to one day and just to see the beauty and the nature and everything there. Number 4, this is France, City of Love. So talk about a book where love story is the central point of the plot or just present in the story. And I chose Broken Trails by D. Jordan Redhawk. And it is a sapphic romance, but what's really cool about it, cool, and now I'm being having a pun unnecessarily, is that it takes place during an Iditarod race in Alaska. I have always been fascinated with the Iditarod races, which, if you don't know about, are long dog sled races where you go across a very long part of Alaska, and it's days of racing in the cold. You just have your dogs and your food on your sled, and the shelter that you can put up and stuff. And so it actually is very detailed about this race, the training that goes into it, kind of what the stops would be like, what the atmosphere and everything would be like. The romance aspect is more like the side story. The actual prep and race are the main story, and I found the whole Iditarod thing absolutely fascinating. The next one is 5, Germany, Octoberfest. My cats are fighting again, and I apologize. Octoberfest, the world's largest festival. Name a book where wild celebrating and crazy parties are part of the storyline. I went with The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson, because this is about the serial killer during the World's Fair in Chicago, and it's really great celebration of what that was for the city, for the World's Fair, the creation of it, understanding the significance of it in world history, but then you also have this eeriness of, because there were so many people from all over the world there, that you have to deal with a serial killer who can hunt women who are unattended and who people won't miss for a long time because of all the traveling involved going to and from their home. Number 6, Mexico. Tourism and beaches. Name a book set in on the coast or an island. And I chose Good Morning Midnight by Lily Brooks Dalton. I'll hold on just a second. Sorry about that. My cats were going crazy again. Good Morning Midnight it actually takes place in the Arctic, but since they're all islands up there, I am going to just include this as the island aspect of that. But it's an astronomer stuck on a base in the Arctic, and all of a sudden, everybody leaves, but he doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay. Hold on again. Sorry again. This is a atmospheric story where he gets trapped by himself in the Arctic. Meanwhile, there's dual storyline where there's this woman in space who loses contact with their basically control center, and she doesn't know what's going on Earth. She doesn't know if she can get back. She doesn't really know what's not. So she has this fear as well of being trapped up in space. So there's these two very lonely storylines about what would happen if there was this catastrophe on Earth, and you're whether you're stuck in space and you're isolated, or in the Arctic all alone. You still have very limited opportunities and food and water supplies, and just that fear and that unknown and that loneliness that comes with that. Number 7, Italy, Fine Cuisine, Food and Wine. Talk about a book where food and or wine or a drink is central to the plot. So for this one, I chose The Lamb by Lucy Rose, and it is about cannibalism. But it is it's a horror story, and that is the way that they prepare the food is very central to the plot. As this woman is raising her daughter, and she basically hates the world and thinks that she has to protect her daughter from having any connections with the outside world. So anyone who kind of stumbles across their land, she basically gets rid of them. And it's like almost an anti-fairy tale. Like it feels when you're reading it, the way that the narrator is narrating the story. It's very lighthearted in the midst of all this traumatic stuff that's happening. But it's fairy tale-ish because you have this, this evil, essentially mom or stepmom character, and this girl who is realizing that there might be more to life outside and away from her. But there's always morals to the story, and just a really interesting way to wrap it all up. But it is very central to the story, so I am going with that. And number 8, Austria, alpine landscapes, so ski, snowboarding, and sports and stuff like that. So it says, talk about a book where the sport or a contest is central to the story. And I chose A Most Beautiful Thing by Ashay Cooper. And that is the true story of America's first all-black high school rowing team. It's a very interesting story, very well written, very well done. Number 9, South Africa, Rainbow Nation, a book from a diverse author you have enjoyed. Race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or anything. And I chose Open Water by Caleb Zuma Nelson. And he is a British Ghanaian author. And it's a love story between two black artists who fall in love in southeast London. And it deals a lot with racism. The boy gets basically assaulted in a police brutality case, and he just can't shake the trauma of that. And it starts to interfere with his growing relationship with this woman that he loves, because although she is black as well, she didn't experience what he did, and she just can't see how he can't just get over it. And he just keeps dwelling on it until he basically blows up his life and destroys his relationship. And so how racism and that kind of trauma that endures from your treatment and mistreatment in society, especially when it has to deal with systemic racism, and how it affects your everyday life and your interpersonal relationships. It's a very, very good book. And number 10, bonus. Where do you live? A country, state. So talk about a book that reflects the culture, history, or anything about your home. So I am from Michigan and in the United States, and I live in West Michigan. So I live about 20 minutes or less, depending on which part of the lake and which lake what city I want to go to of Lake Michigan. And this is a book that's on my TBR. I haven't read it yet. I just ordered it. It is actually, I found it because I get an email for awards for Michigan authors, and they were going to do this whole presentation and stuff next month that you could attend, and it had all these notable new Michigan authors and books and stuff. And this one sounded absolutely fantastic, and since it takes place on Lake Michigan, I thought that it would go good with this prompt here. But it's called Waterline by Iram Merjoyan, and it's Kyrgyzstan family from Armenia. One of the members deliberately disappears in Lake Michigan, and that trauma makes them have to explore the intergenerational and inherited trauma of having their great grandparents or their grandparents survive the Armenian genocide. And so it deals with family identity and family expectations and all of that generational and inherited trauma that comes with something like this. And so it sounds fascinating to me, and the fact that it is an author who's from Michigan and takes place so close to home is something that I want to read. And I've already read several books about the Armenian genocide, so it is something I've been actively trying to learn more about. So having it from a point of view so close to home is really something that I'm looking forward to reading. So that's the only one that I haven't read. All the other ones I highly recommend. But anyway, this was a fantastic tag. I really enjoyed it. So thank you, Cliff, for making it, and thank you, Mike, for tagging me. As always, happy reading and have a great day.